Hi guys, welcome back to Office Blokes React. I'm Office Bloke Max.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I have just absolutely destroyed that first take.
I think you should keep it in, mate. Keep it in.
Not a chance in this world.
Cut the room floor.
Yes, Dad's away today because his wonderful Manchester City won a trophy yesterday.
Yeah, very tiny, small one,
Small
but he's been
trophy.
celebrating anyway, so he'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, he was in London, so, miles away. Maybe a sherry or two.
Catching up on some sleep, shall we say.
Yeah, fair play. To be fair, well earned for City, I'll give him that. So, Mike, you do not know anything about this situation?
I don't know. No,
So,
not really.
This is only really coming to my peripheral over sort of the weekend once the trial result was. So, it is, for those who don't know at home, Afroman, the guy who did Because I Got High, everyone knows that song.
Yeah.
There was a raid at his house that I think was either unlawful or maybe there was a reason. But it seemed like they were maybe some foul play. I'm unsure. We'll see again in the video. And then Afroman used the security footage to make sort of songs taking the mick, and the police sued him because they thought it was defamation.
Right. Okay. Well,
so it seems like the policeman police people got a bit pissy.
Yeah.
And then I think the court may have ruled in his favour.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
Decent individual. He's got a full American
He's
suit
gone full stars and stripes there.
Yeah, exactly.
Full stars and stripes.
But I kind of want to find out all the details of this because it looks a bit bonkers. Because he looks a bit bonkers. And so I like characters like that.
Right, okay.
Let's get into it.
I swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. As this, you shall answer unto God.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're breaking down the strangest legal saga of 2026. This is one of those stories that sounds invented in a writer's room, except it very much happened. Before we get into it, a quick refresher. Afroman, born Joseph Foreman, is the irreverent rapper best known for the early 2000s hit, Because I Got High.
My room is still messed up, and I know why. Why, man? Yeah, because I got high. Because I got high. Because I got high.
Years later, he found himself at the center of a bizarre legal battle, a clash with Ohio sheriff's deputies over a raid on his home. Afroman's case involves security camera footage, viral songs, and a courtroom fight over satire, embarrassment, and free speech. The details are ridiculous. The legal stakes were not.
Yes, I mean, I entertain for a living like you practice law for a living. So I have to go to work.
It all started with a 2022 raid on his Ohio home.
The story you're seeing right here on Fox 19 now. Rapper Afroman says he will not stop using videos of deputies raiding his home to promote his music and merchandise. Now those deputies are suing, saying the rapper is causing harm not only to their lives, but their families. Ken Baker now with both sides of the story.
This whole saga began in August 2022 when sheriff's deputies in Adams County, Ohio, executed a search warrant at Afroman's home. The allegations behind the warrant were serious. Authorities were reportedly investigating suspected narcotics trafficking and kidnapping.
The warrant said narcotics and kidnapping. The warrant said narcotics and kidnapping. Are you kidding? I make my money rapping.
But the story quickly took on a very different tone because the raid was captured on home security cameras inside the house. That detail changed everything. Instead of disappearing into the usual blur of police paperwork and rumor, the search left behind actual footage that Afroman would later use to tell his side of the story.
Will you help me repair my game?
Wow.
Will you help me repair my door?
Not only that, but in a separate wrinkle that wasn't part of the deputy's civil lawsuit, the Adams County Sheriff's Office reportedly returned less cash than had originally been seized from Foreman's home during the 2022 raid. The discrepancy raised obvious questions, but an independent review later determined that the issue came down to a miscount during the search itself, not a new theft or cover-up. Just as important, the raid didn't lead to criminal charges against him.
When I talked to the head officer, I asked him if I was under arrest. He said no.
That meant the conversation around the case shifted fast. What started as a law enforcement action soon became, in the public imagination, a deeply strange episode that left Afroman with footage, a grievance, and eventually, a lot of material to work with.
Then I asked him if he would help me put my door back on the hinges and help me fix my gate. And that's when he cracked a little smile and said, "We're not required to do that." And that's their way of just letting you know that that's how it is and you can't do nothing about it. So I got to start from right there and figure out what's my move.
No charges, new story.
These big, tough dudes that laugh when you ask them to help you put your door back on the hinge, it's turned into these little whiny crybabies complaining about my song. My only response to that was a rap song and a t-shirt.
One of the biggest reasons this case blew up is simple. After all that, Afroman was never charged. If the raid had led to a major criminal case, the story would have landed very differently. Instead, the absence of charges made the aftermath feel surreal. A dramatic police search had taken place, but what followed wasn't a prosecution. It was a public backlash campaign, led by the man.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. See, I didn't realize. I was about to pause it just before he said that, but that makes it a kind of a bigger thing. I kind of get it more now why it was such a big sort of issue. No charging. I mean, I'm sure they got the warrant fairly, and they carried that out.
Yeah, if that's all above board, then fair enough. And I'm guessing, to be fair, the officers have got to go in and do the job, and they're just saying, like, look, we've got a warrant here. This is what we're going to do. Yeah. You've got to go in, search the place, look for evidence of X, Y, and Z. So, you know, to be fair, the guys going in there are just doing the job, aren't they? What they've been told to do. Not sure whether that's who the biggest grievance is against when it comes. I think it's sort of more the fact that they've just gone in there and, you know, someone's been a bit smug when he's asked for, you know, can you fix my door and stuff. It's like, you know, come on.
Some money's been miscounted.
You know, there's been no charges, so there's no wrongdoing there, clearly.
Yeah. So why is he not able to then make a song about it? I mean, I'm sure it's not the best song in the world. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm not sure. I mean, probably sometimes it makes it worse when you complain about it, then it just blows up. Because I would never have heard of this.
No.
At all.
No.
It's only because it's gone to court and they've sort of like put a complaint in against him.
Yeah, of course.
It's a fine line, isn't it? You know, some of the officers can probably see why they're getting Mickey's taken out, and they think, well, I've just been doing my job.
Yeah,
you know, and people having a go at me and my family about it. But sometimes when it's an entertainer like that, sometimes you may be better off just saying, listen, it'll blow over.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Leave it. Just leave it. Don't make it bigger than it is.
I don't get what they're going to get back from winning a defamation. Maybe, okay, the videos get took down, but
it's out there. I mean,
exactly.
Once it's out there, it's out there, isn't it? When it's online,
people,
most of the people that are going to see it would have seen it already anyway. And I
don't think it would have crossed out of America, let alone probably a few states, and maybe it got a bit viral around the time.
Listen, it's easy for us to sit here and say that, isn't it? To be fair, I mean, the people in this story, sort of like they're on the spot, and they're the ones that are getting most of the all the publicity and all the grief from it, you know. But I could just say from a personal perspective, I think sometimes you just got to say, just let it go.
Especially being in law enforcement, I think
you're there to be shot at to a certain, you know, in more ways than one, aren't you?
Yeah.
Figuratively and probably literally.
I'd rather someone make a silly little music video about the job than like someone in person being a nub. Yeah. Like it takes picky battles, I'd say in that regard.
The thing is, if you had some police officers there that were into rapping, they might have come back with their own song just to go back at him. You know what I mean? But you know, just show your sense of humour, and people think fair. People think fair enough.
It enough to be good.
If you show you can take it,
exactly. Yeah.
Sense of humour, then people will just sort of like then get more on your side.
But then lawsuit, you go. Oh,
yeah,
come on.
Yeah, maybe it's a bit much that though.
But yeah, interesting.
Whose house had been searched.
Once they didn't find drugs being trafficked, once they didn't find kidnapping victims, they didn't apologize to me as an American citizen.
That doesn't change the fact that deputies were acting under a warrant. But because no charges followed, the emotional center of the story changed. It stopped being mainly about what police suspected and started being about what Afroman did next. And what he did next was very, very Afroman. He turned the whole ordeal into satire.
Sheriffs should be locked up in slammers. The Adams County Sheriff Department disconnected my cameras.
Afroman responded in the most Afroman way possible.
Mama's lemon pound cake. It tastes so nice.
I'm gonna lie to you, it's not good music.
No, I mean,
it's really not good music.
I wouldn't buy it.
No, no.
So you'd think the police officers would have listened to it. Think, no one's going to listen to it. Anyway. To be fair,
exactly. Yeah, they go, "Oh, this is a weird clip. What is that noise?" Let's turn it on.
It made the sheriff wanna put down his gun and cut him a slice. Of what?
A lot of people, after a raid, might issue a statement or disappear behind legal counsel. Joseph Foreman made songs. Using footage from his home security system, he turned the incident into music videos, social media content, and merchandise. The most famous example was Lemon Pound Cake, which became the centerpiece of his very public response.
Lemon pound cake, he wanna put down his Glock. Lemon pound cake, trending on TikTok. Lemon pound cake, he's a family guy. Lemon pound cake, munchies because he got high.
He also released Will You Help Me Repair My Door, a title that tells you pretty much everything about the tone he was going for. This is where the whole saga went from unusual to unforgettable.
Adams County Sheriff, he's hungry and he's big as hell. He was sniffing for weed, then he smelled another smell. What was that?
Afroman wasn't simply criticizing the deputies for overstepping. He was remixing the experience into entertainment and protest at the same time, turning a humiliating or invasive event into something defiantly funny. To his supporters, that made the whole thing feel cathartic. To the deputies, it was humiliating and damaging. Either way, once the footage started circulating through songs and videos, this stopped being a local story and became something much bigger.
Lisa, I'm sorry. I didn't know that hurt you like that. You kind of intimidated me. I mean, you're a cop. I know you're. I'm sorry. I mean, you guys raided my house. You knocked down my door. I was upset. I would never shoot you, or I would never try to punch you. I thought I'd crack some musical jokes.
The 7 deputies sued him for millions.
I made jokes out of what they did, and they're suing me for humiliation. You know, that's what I feel every day, and that's what I felt when they kicked down my door and didn't want to offer to help me out, you know.
The conflict escalated when...
By the way, do you think this guy likes weed at all? Because I think every single shirt he's had on has a cannabis symbol.
I think the clue's in his hits in the 90s anyway, but...
True.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they're suing him for millions. I don't think he has millions. I don't think he's like... I've only ever heard of Afroman from that one song.
Yeah, same. I mean, I'm sure over in the States he had more out, but over here
so.
it's literally just that one, wasn't it?
And you see his performance to about 50 people.
Yeah.
Like in that video, and you go, well, that's not...
Yeah, getting several millions off him, good luck with that one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's highly unlikely, but...
That seems like also a stunt that's responding to another stunt, and you go like, okay, just a waste of time.
Yeah, I know.
7 Adams County Sheriff's deputies filed a civil lawsuit against Afroman. Their claims included defamation and intentional infliction of emotional distress, along with related allegations tied to how he used their likenesses in songs, videos, social posts, and merchandise.
I'm not a crooked cop, I'm not a thief, and I sure don't have a penis. There's been times that videos have been sent to me that I've had to go home because I can't handle it.
They sought roughly $3.9 million in damages. From the deputies' perspective, this wasn't harmless teasing. They argued that Afroman had damaged their reputations and subjected them to public ridicule.
I like to go to Walmart and be called a guy because of your voice. Or ask you if you got a pecker. How would you like that? Would you like a female or a guy asking if you got a vagina? Probably not. Of us standing and having me on their gate. Obviously, I haven't had sex change, I have a child.
From Afroman's perspective, the suit looked like law enforcement trying to punish him for turning a real experience into art and comedy. And that tension is what made the case so compelling. It was about whether embarrassing public officials through exaggerated, satirical expression could cross the line into something legally actionable.
If they was really concerned about their privacy, they wouldn't be putting their names on a public lawsuit. They obviously don't care about their privacy.
The trial was both silly and very serious.
For the record, would you give us your name, please?
My name is Joseph Edgar Foreman.
You are known under the stage name as Afroman, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you create music videos and do performances, is
Yes,
that
sir.
right?
By the time the case went to trial literally years later, in March 2026, it had taken on that rare quality of being both absurd and genuinely consequential. Strip away the song titles and the viral clips, and the jury still had to decide a real question. Had Afroman's conduct caused actionable harm, or was this exactly the kind of heated, mocking expression that the law protects, especially when public officials are involved?
And on TikTok, you have about 392,000 followers?
I haven't looked at it, but that sounds kind of right.
You know when you post something that a lot of people are going to see it, don't you?
Yes.
Afroman's defense was basically this. The songs were satire, they were commentary, and they were protected by the First Amendment. His team argued that he was responding artistically to a real event that happened at his own house, and that sheriff's deputies, as public officials, aren't shielded from criticism just because that criticism comes with punchlines and a beat.
The whole raid was a mistake. All of this is their fault. If they hadn't have wrongly raided my house, there would be no lawsuit. I would not know their names. They wouldn't be on my body. They wouldn't be on my home surveillance system. And there would be no songs, nothing. My money would still be intact, nothing. So all of this is their fault.
That argument mattered because defamation law isn't about whether something made people angry or embarrassed them. The bar is much higher than that. Afroman's side argued that no reasonable person was meant to hear these songs as neutral, factual reporting. They were expressive, exaggerated, and clearly coming from the perspective of someone turning a bad experience into public art, or at least public comedy.
Yes, I had the right to my freedom of speech. After they left, I had the right to kick the can and to do what I had to do to repair the damage they brought to my house. Yes, I did.
That includes the right to post the videos that you've just been posting up until Friday and beyond, right?
Yes, I have freedom of speech. I'm a rapper. I entertain.
In the end, the jury sided with Afroman.
In all circumstances, the jury finds in favor of the defendant. No plaintiff verdict prevailed. So the matter will be concluded with defense verdicts.
The climax came on March 18, 2026, when the jury found in Afroman's favor. He was found not liable, and reporting said he prevailed across the deputies' claims. The deputies had sought nearly $4 million, but they didn't get the result they wanted. Far from it.
I didn't win. America won. America still has freedom of speech. It's still for the people, by the people.
Afroman becoming emotional there as he says this fight was bigger than him.
Instead, the verdict was widely seen as a win for artistic expression and the right to ridicule public officials through satire. That's why this story landed so hard.
I didn't go down here and sue the police department. I fixed up the damages they made, and I sung songs about them to raise money to do it. They were unapologetic.
When law enforcement raids your home, and you later turn that experience into art that embarrasses the people involved, can they successfully sue you over it? In this case, the answer was no, and that gave this already bizarre saga an ending that somehow made it feel even more surreal and even more unmistakably American.
We got about a total of 250 pieces given out. This is the last one, and I'd like to give it to you.
Supporters of Afroman coming from near and far with a message both verbally and symbolically.
For me, this isn't really about Afroman. It's about free speech. So when someone like Afroman stands up for my free speech by using his talents, his musical talents, to fight the corrupt system, we got to come out and support him.
Is this story ridiculous? Absolutely.
Yes,
wow.
it is. Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, listen to all the comedians up and down the countries.
Mm-hmm.
You know, exactly the same thing that they do. They take the piss out of officials and law enforcement and sort of like everyone sort of thing. And I think that's the sort of thing that he was doing via rap. He's sort of like going along like the comedy route and taking the mickey.
100%.
That's basically what he was doing. But I mean, so many people do it in so many ways on TV and just all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like that interview with the police woman who was like welling up and about how insecure she is. And I just think, if you're going to be in the police, you're going to have a bit of thicker skin than that. Like, to carry out the job. If you're going to carry out a raid and do things like that and be involved in, like, fighting crime, you can't get pissy about insults. Or, again...
Yeah, listen, I'm sure it can be tough in the police, being in the police force, because, I mean, you know, they're up against it a lot of the time.
Oh,
and always in a lot of danger and stuff. But unfortunately, I think it does sort of like go with the territory, so to speak, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Like, say, having a thicker skin and dealing with public, even dealing with drunkards when they're shouting and swearing at you and calling you all names under the sun and this, that. You know, it's not it's not actually personal. It's just sort of, you just sort of like got to take it on the chin and just get on with it. Which is, I think, maybe in this case they should have just thought, you know, it's not really personal against each and every one of them. I don't think it was more like the situation. It's more like a situation, more like a like a.
If my house got raided and no charges were brought forth and you're innocent, you're gonna be a bit miffed.
If your house has been, you know, if your gate and your door's been smashed up a little bit, and you know, you just know, you know, you don't get any anyone to fix it for you.
Exactly,
You've got to go out and pay for it yourself and things like that. It's you wouldn't be happy, would you, at all?
Exactly.
But,
I have a lot of respect for the police and sort of and also
No,
free
big
speech
time,
at the
yeah,
same
yeah.
time. But I just think you need to do more in that. And I think that this result ends up being worse for the police than the initial videos.
Well, it did. Like I say, sometimes you just got to take it on chin and just say, like, we'll just leave it. Like I say, what was he playing in front of, like 50 people there and stuff? I mean, how many people have listened to it? And
let's say if you've got 1 million views, it sounds horrible. It's not a nice video.
It's not going to sell into best-selling songs, that's for sure.
It's on
Because
top of the
I mean,
charts.
they weren't great at all by any stretch of the imagination.
Exactly,
So, you know, I'd listen to it and think, yes, it's not very good though, is it? You know, who's going to listen to it, sort of
And
thing.
so where you go. Do you know what? Fair, that's probably done more
For a
us.
laugh, someone might listen to it once, but I mean, you won't listen to it twice.
No,
It's
exactly.
highly likely.
It's the most sort of flash in the pan. Oh, look, this is silly, nice one, and it's gone tomorrow. And then they've dragged out for nearly 4 years. And you go, right, that's on you then, at this point.
It's gone over a long, long period, hasn't it? It would have just blown over by now, wouldn't it? It would have just been forgotten. No one would know anything about it. So
he wouldn't do all that unless he kind of needed the views and the attention as well. So
that's it. That he did. That's part of it. Why he did it. Absolutely, it wasn't just sort of like getting back at the police. It was sort of like for attention.
Let's try and get viral.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Yeah, but that's what he does as an entertainer, and that's the type of route that entertainers go down, isn't it? Looking for the viral.
I don't think it would have been that viral. Again, it's only become viral because of said case.
Yeah, and then it starts getting more publicity, gets more traction.
Yeah.
So, in the end.
It was kind of the police's fault for carrying on.
I mean, whatever happens, I mean, even winning some money, I mean, what's that going to do if they're still sort of like embarrassed and, they don't like what he did? It's still going to be out there.
Exactly.
People still would have seen it, people still would have watched it, people still remember it, I suppose.
More people.
So, but now even more people.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, it's just because it's been going viral recently because of the verdict. It's an interesting sort of watch because silly shit like this happens all the time. In terms of, it's different when it's Afroman. Hi, remember the guy that did I Got High, that song, that's funny. Yeah. But besides that, stupid shit like this happens all the time. And it's an interesting watch because you go, why? This is the most why has this happened scenario ever.
And we've got us watching videos about here. I've not heard of Afroman since the 90s when he had, because he got high out.
Yeah, that's the only song I know.
That's the last time I've heard about him.
Yeah.
So
that's how it would have stayed except for this. But yeah, again, very interesting. Very
interesting indeed.
But yeah, nice one. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers.